think this is some kind of game?
Yeah, now we're playing.
You're playing, I'm at work.
Seems like you love your job.
Number 20, Hayden Christensen, Jumper. With an $85 million budget on the line, it makes sense that Hollywood Suits wanted a big-name star to headline this sci-fi romp. Unfortunately, Hayden Christensen wasn't the sure thing they'd hoped for.
What do you think you're doing here? Huh? If I were you, I'd jump right back. You're not supposed to see all this stuff. You're not supposed to be here. Get out!
His work in the Star Wars franchise wasn't exactly what you'd call well-received. So, without a lightsaber in his hand, audiences weren't as keen on checking him out. Jumper's critical disappointment seemingly proved that Christensen's value was limited to the galaxy far, far away. In layperson's terms, that meant his solo career was pretty much DOA.
I think I need to talk to my lawyers.
At least he fell in love with co-star Rachel Bilson, because otherwise, Jumper was pretty much a misfire. Number 19, Emile Hirsch, Speed Racer. An adaptation of a beloved anime by the directors of The Matrix should have hit the gas all the way to box office gold, but 2008's Speed Racer couldn't even cross the finish line of profitability.
Within a year, he'll be filing for bankruptcy. After that, you and the rest of your pathetic family will be history.
Pops is right. You are the devil.
The film's dastardly returns crashed into Hollywood infamy, and it took Emile Hirsch's mainstream career with it. After a few standout showings in the mid-2000s, the actor leveraged all his capital on this CGI spectacle. So when Speed Racer swerved off course, there was nothing Hirsch could do as his leading man status dwindled away. He's been mostly stuck in bit parts ever since, which is a far cry from what he could have accomplished had Speed Racer not derailed his bankability.
I can't believe you talked us into this ridiculous idea.
Number 18, Madonna, Swept Away. There are several examples of music artists successfully transitioning to film careers. However, Madonna in Swept Away is not one of them. To be fair, the Queen of Pop was no stranger to a movie set by 2002, but this starring role was clearly above her capabilities.
The adventure is over.
The adventure is just starting for you, my friend. Just wait till my lawyer speaks to your captain.
So when her lackluster performance sank the movie, both critics and audiences agreed Madonna should just stick to singing. In fact, she echoed that sentiment herself. Following Swept Away's critical bloodbath, Madonna vowed to never act again.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to be tested.
Since this film is often cited as one of the worst ever made, it's safe to say that the feeling is mutual from Hollywood. Number 17, Justin Chatwin, Dragon Ball Evolution. It's almost impressive to assemble a cast this wooden, especially with such acclaimed source material to base off of. Although in his defense, Justin Chatwin's flat turn as Goku is just one of the many, many issues plaguing this maligned adaptation. But as the face of it all, it's Chatwin's movie career that's in most need of resuscitation.
He will kill you. And Bulma. And Yamcha. He will destroy everything.
Ever since his starring vehicle was ripped to shreds, Chatwin has shifted to independent films and a prominent role on Shameless. To this day, he's yet to book a gig that's anywhere near the profile of his work before Dragon Ball Evolution, but that's what headlining one of the most hated films of the 2000s will get you.
I'm sorry, Master Roshi, we just weren't ready to have you leave us.
Number 16, Topher Grace, Spider-Man 3.
Do you remember what you did to me?
We all know him from the huge That 70s Show, but his big movie appearances have been somewhat of a rarity. Being cast as Venom in Spider-Man 3 should have been a massive career booster for Grace, but unfortunately, it sucked.
You're so right. I'm thinking humiliation.
True, Spider-Man 3 is admired by many, but the movie did receive heavy criticism for trying to shoehorn in too many villains, Grace's Venom being the straw that broke the camel's back. His portrayal of the disgraced journalist and anti-Spidey wasn't bad, it's just unfortunate that a lot of the animosity towards the movie's villain problem ended up on his shoulders. And he's yet to have an acting gig of the same status since.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
Number 15, Meg Ryan, Proof of Life. Like Demi Moore and Julia Roberts, Meg Ryan was 90s movie royalty, with starring roles in You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle. When she lined up alongside Russell Crowe for the movie Proof of Life, a story about hostage negotiations, it seemed like a guaranteed thrill ride.
I have some really bad news. You want to go inside and sit down?
Well, it turns out it was not. The movie had a few good twists and turns, and Ryan's performance was commendable, but overall it was flat and predictable, and since then, Ryan's big roles have been few and far between.
You can't possibly make any sense out of it. You can't push it away.
Here's to hoping that she'll pop up in another legendary diner scene someday soon. Number 14, Chris O'Donnell, Batman and Robin.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
The only justice here is that this film never got its planned sequel, but in order to spare the masses another round of bat nipples, Chris O'Donnell's movie career had to be sacrificed. The proposed Robin spin-off was canned, but that was the least of his issues. The toxic reaction to Batman and Robin allegedly kept the boy wonders actor out of a job for almost 2 years. Since then, he's slowly rebuilt his reputation, doing regular gigs on network TV. But it's taken him the better part of 2 decades to fully recover. Clearly, O'Donnell's turn as Robin didn't buy him any industry goodwill, even with a bat credit card. Number 13, Demi Moore, Striptease. In 1996, Demi Moore became both a trailblazer and a cautionary tale for the exact same project. She was paid a staggering $12.5 million for her work in Striptease, becoming the then highest paid actress in film history.
How did I get so popular?
However, Moore was unable to deliver a film befitting such a payday. While Striptease was a moderate financial success, it was demolished by critics and deemed not worth Moore's hefty price tag. Afterwards, with her brand on shaky footing, Hollywood's it girl struggled to recapture the same celebrity she had in the 90s.
Hey, this is honest work. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
I know that, and you know that, but the judge won't. Not him.
A few films, a hiatus, and a lot of drama later, Moore still hasn't completely recovered. Number 12, Warren Beatty, Town and Country. At the end of the day, movies are made to make money, so after delivering one of the biggest box office bombs in American history, it's no surprise Warren Beatty hid his face in shame. In fact, in the decades following Town and Country, he's only appeared in 3 on-screen projects. With a sharp downturn like that, it's clear that this bomb sent Beatty into a premature retirement.
You know, it's been a long day. I'm just gonna pack it.
Although it's hard to say if that was self-mandated or because no one was willing to pay him anymore. After all, nothing can change the fact that Beatty is the star of a movie that only made back 1/9 of its production budget.
So, I guess I'll be living in the apartment. Yeah?
Number 11, Halle Berry, Catwoman. After a historic Oscar win for 2001's Monsters Ball, Halle Berry cashed in her industry cred for roles in high-paying blockbusters. But just when she was about to enter permanent A-list status, she starred in a little film called Catwoman.
Cat got your tongue?
To call it the runt of the litter would be putting it nicely. The film's downright atrocious reception single-handedly stopped Berry's career in its tracks. Then, with a new Razzie Award for Worst Actress, her box office numbers sank to very worrying lows.
You hear that? It's called silence. That's all I ever wanted. Now keep it down.
It's taken the better part of 15 years, but Berry's career has begun to show signs of life again. For everyone's sake, fingers crossed she stays away from the cat claws this time. Number 10, John Travolta, Battlefield Earth. So much goodwill after Pulp Fiction. So much potential. So what the hell is this?
Obviously, this is going to take a while.
Based on the L. Ron Hubbard novel of the same name, Battlefield Earth follows a human rebellion against a race of alien overlords. John Travolta, whose career up to this point boasted movies like Grease, the aforementioned Pulp Fiction, Saturday Night Fever, and Face Off, played a lead role in the movie mainly because it was linked into his Scientology beliefs.
I just want to do whatever serves the corporation best.
Criticized for its acting, script, special effects, and, well, pretty much everything, it's a sci-fi feast of cheese. For a certain generation, Travolta will forever be known as the Battlefield Earth guy.
There must be some mistake.
Number 9, Taylor Kitsch, John Carter.
Okay. See, my name is John Carter. Virginia is where I'm from.
This is a strange one. It's a sci-fi Disney movie with tons of action, great special effects, and a large number of admiring fans. So why is it on this list? Well, due to some questionable marketing and the fact that the title John Carter hardly inspires excitement, the movie did kinda poorly at the box office. Like, failed to recoup its budget poorly.
I take you for a man who's lost.
I won't be lost if you just tell me how to work this thing.
The only entry in a proposed trilogy, John Carter saw its lead and titular actor just fade away. Sure, Kitsch has had some decent supporting roles since, but it's a long way from starring as the lead in a Disney blockbuster.
Well, maybe I ought to get behind you.
Number 8. Jamie Kennedy, Son of the Mask. The phrase like father, like son apparently doesn't apply to movies. Sure, no one was ever going to match Jim Carrey's pitch-perfect comedic timing, but this sequel couldn't even get close. And who else is there to blame other than the man himself, Jamie Kennedy?
Hey, Loki.
Honey, you look hot.
Give me back my son!
Hollywood certainly thought so, and ever since the film's disastrous debut, Kennedy hasn't garnered much traction in the industry. Nowadays, he's mainly relegated to TV roles or stand-up comedy, and even those have dwindled in recent years. In 2021, he released a series of videos on his YouTube channel attributing the film's failures to its haphazard production schedule. But in any case, that's hardly a consolation.
You're gonna be making $20 million plus 20%. Well, that didn't quite happen.
Number 7. Taylor Lautner, Abduction.
I don't even know these people. I need answers.
You've been looking for answers your whole life. You just didn't know what questions to ask.
As the Twilight Saga inched towards its conclusion, its young stars were some of the most promising in cinema, Taylor Lautner included. And after starring in a huge franchise like that, your next steps are crucial. But unfortunately for Lautner, his big action blockbuster Abduction didn't earn him the title of action hero like he'd hoped.
Suddenly everyone around me is dying, Karen. And I don't want anything to happen to you.
Criticized for its awful writing and the fact that it was basically a lame ripoff of the Jason Bourne movies, Abduction was universally panned, and Lautner has struggled to regain his A-list status since. The Golden Raspberry Award nomination he earned for the movie is still hanging around his neck like an albatross. Number 6. Cuba Gooding Jr., Boat Trip. Since earning himself a well-deserved Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career has been a bit of a roller coaster.
Jerry! Don't worry, buddy. I'm bringing you back home. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Although starring in several great films since then, his filmography has also been filled with lower-budget direct-to-DVD movies and a few really, really bad movies, of which have hampered his rise back to Oscar form.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
One of the main offenders was undoubtedly Boat Trip. Lewd, awkward to watch, and boasting a 7% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, it's about two straight guys who end up on a gay cruise, and the fun just never starts. We mean, this is the guy that gave us Show Me the Money. Come on, man.
Show me the money.
Number 5. Roberto Benigni, Pinocchio. In the 1990s, Roberto Benigni wrote, directed, and starred in the Italian film Life is Beautiful. It went on to receive 7 Academy Award nominations and 3 wins, including his trophy for Best Actor. So when he tackled a story as famous as Pinocchio, hopes were high he'd be able to capture the same lightning in a bottle.
And I want to become the sort of boy who's good and honest, well-behaved, does what he's told, goes to school, and works hard.
Nincompoop.
Ninkum what?
However, the film makes some very questionable creative choices. After just one scene, it's clear why Benigni's career has been rather muted ever since. He hasn't quite reclaimed his dignity yet.
I can't go out like this! Look!
That's the dual-edged sword of writing and directing yourself. You keep all the glory and all the infamy as well. Number 4. Mike Myers, The Love Guru. Times change rapidly in the movie business. What worked in the 90s or the 2000s may not work today. Case in point, Mike Myers' The Love Guru. Known for his irreverent 90s comedies, especially the Austin Powers movies, Myers' style of comedy has been pretty consistently silly over the years. But when he tried to sell the ridiculous Love Guru to audiences in 2008, it did not land well at all.
It's the beard.
It makes me look like Santa.
With inappropriate, cringeworthy, gross-out gags coming out of its ears, the movie left Myers with more Razzies than a trifle.
Boyfriend?
No.
Girlfriend?
Well, I mean, there was one time in college.
Really?
What was that?
I didn't hear anything.
And since then, he's not done any movies flaunting his old brand of humor, which is probably for the best.
Fine. I don't need material things. I was put on this earth to spread a message of peace and love.
Number 3, Geena Davis, Cutthroat Island. Following a series of runaway hits in the 80s and early 90s, this actor seemed poised to take over Hollywood. And yet, all it takes is one flop to knock a performer off their throne. In Geena Davis's case, that was Cutthroat Island.
All right, I'm going. But no tricks. And hurry.
The actor had seemingly hoped the swashbuckling adventure film would turn her into an action star. And it certainly did change her image, just not for the better. The movie was an unmitigated disaster, and marked the end of her lucrative track record. Her career still hasn't quite found its footing again, but on the bright side, Davis has become very comfortable behind the scenes instead.
I thought I should never see you again.
Yes, Mr. Glassblow, it's me. What do you say, men? Shall we take back our ship?
On your word, Captain.
Number 2, Eddie Murphy, Norbit. At the height of his popularity, this legendary comedian bet hard on himself. So Eddie Murphy starred in Norbit as not one, not two, but 3 separate characters. However, the only impressive part of this performance is how ludicrously annoying it is.
God damn it, Norbit, how many times I got to tell you when you drive my car, don't adjust my seat?
I haven't touched your seat.
Then why is it up so damn soft?
The harshly negative reactions to the film spelled doom for the shtick Murphy had defined his career by. Then, without audience goodwill or a hot IP to prop him up, the actor's popularity nosedived. You can count on one hand how many films he was in during the 2010s. Murphy has returned with a few prominent releases around the turn of the 2020s, but the jury is still out if the Norbit stench has faded or not.
Hey, Norbit!
Number 1, Elizabeth Berkley, Showgirls. We've tried to give the benefit of the doubt where possible, but when it comes to Showgirls, we got nothing.
I used to love Doggy Chow. I used to love Doggy Chow too.
This movie is so bad that it earned a record number of Razzie Award nominations, and a cult status for its sheer awfulness. Unfortunately for former teen actress Elizabeth Berkley, she played the lead role. The film as a whole is bad and weird in its own right, but Berkley's acting is dire throughout, as she famously overacts in many of the scenes.
Where are you from? Back east. From where back east? Different places.
The fallout from the movie was so bad, she was dropped by her agent as a result. And although she's been in tons of movies since, Showgirls will forever be a defining black mark on her career.
Bye, darling.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.